how's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel with some more Arsenal transfer news, transfer updates, discussions, and all that good stuff. Today, we have quite interesting, the things to discuss. About Emil Smith-Rowe, about potential signings, about the potential leavings. It's all over the place, basically. The transfer window has been open for 12 days, nearly 2 weeks. Nothing has happened in Arsenal's front, and it's kind of understandable because according to latest reports, Arsenal most likely are waiting till July 1st when PSR kind of goes away and everything happens, so Arsenal are waiting till then. However, it is not stopping other teams to sign, sell and do everything. For example, Everton, they are still having the FFP issues or PSR issues. They are quite a bit under the limit and they have only like 3-4 days to sell players. To kind of balance the books. If they don't, they're gonna get fined or something like that. It's very interesting and very weird at the same time. But today, as I said, we have quite interesting stuff. Obviously, Euros are happening at the moment. Romania, Slovakia is 1-1. Belgium is playing Ukraine. It's 0-0 so far. So lots of football to follow. Also Copa America, of course. But chances, of course, including Arsenal, is the main thing. So like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think about the transfers we're going to talk about today, your opinions and all that stuff, and let's get into it. And we're kicking things off with Smith-Rowe. Obviously, we talked about yesterday about Emil Smith-Rowe, about the fact that he has gone to Mikel Arteta, visit Mikel Arteta in Marbella together with other players that are not on international duty to start pre-season preparations early for fitness and everything. And yeah, I kind of put out the opinion, my thoughts on that there is a chance he actually might stay. However, obviously today there are numerous rumors. I kind of dug into that a bit as well, and it was pretty much understandable that Emil Smith-Rowe has been told that he can leave if he finds a proper offer and proper place where he could play. And obviously their links are some very persistent from certain places, and here it is. Fulham and Crystal Palace have both made contact with Arsenal regarding the availability of Emil Smith-Rowe. Arsenal want above 40 million for the player, which could be an issue. Now, first things first, the fact that which could be an issue is wrong statement. That it should be, it will be an issue, it should be said, because yesterday we talked about the fact that obviously Arsenal want 50 million for Eddie Nketiah. Let's be real, it's never gonna happen. 30 maybe. So yeah, 40 million for Emil Smith-Rowe, I'm not sure it's gonna happen or not, I would say 35 maybe, 30 to 35, because he hasn't played at all last season, pretty much, let's be real. He got injured, he got a very unfavorable season in terms of value, in terms of performances, in terms of game management and everything, obviously. So it will be very interesting how this goes, but for me personally, it will sound very weird, but I would like to keep him for one more season, give him that benefit of the doubt, if Arteta sees he in his plans. Obviously, Arteta doesn't see him, Emil Smith-Rowe in his plans, because even when he was fit, he didn't play. And basically, I was watching streams, I was watching live reactions and everything, and basically we all together gave him a nickname, "Are you fit, bruv?" Because he's fit and he doesn't play, he just sits on the bench just like other players. So it looks like Emil Smith-Rowe might be on the move. It looks like Fulham and Crystal Palace are very interested. Crystal Palace obviously just lost Olise. It looks like they might lose Eze as well, who we're going to talk about in a second. Fulham as well, they need some improvements in their departments and everything. And let's be real, both teams would be perfect for Emil Smith-Rowe. He could play one of the main roles, he could be one of the team leaders. If he stays fit, doesn't get injured, he definitely could carry the teams, because let's remember, together with Bukayo Saka, like 4 seasons ago, they single-handedly saved Mikel Arteta's job. But Mikel Arteta just doesn't want to acknowledge it in a way, it doesn't give him any game time. So it is a bit sad, but at the time when you are on top, almost on top, we can't say we're on top because we are not, sentimental values kind of go out the window. You have to be ruthless, and Mikel Arteta looks like he's gonna be like that. Whether we're gonna sell him for 40 million remains to be seen. But again, if he sells Emil Smith-Rowe, if Edu sells Emil Smith-Rowe for 40 or more, if he sells Eddie Nketiah for 40 or more, there will be a separate video where I give a standing ovation to Edu and give him his props, because so far, no matter what he has done and everything, he's been very underwhelming. Genuinely, very, and he needs to improve on that massively, especially on players getting sold. It's bad enough we have to deal with him when we sign players, but players going out is a massive issue. And as we talked about Eze, we mentioned Eze, and here it is, Arsenal are seriously interested in signing Eberechi Eze. However, pretty much over the top, every top club in Europe is looking at and considering the player, including Chelsea and Liverpool. It is Arsenal who is pushing the most for Eze right now, according to Sifili, whatever that sport is, basically. And it's very interesting because we talked about the fact recently, a few videos ago, that Palace won 60 million and they want about 50 of those 60 million paid up front. So that means it will be a massive struggle for Arsenal until July, definitely, to sign him. After July, it also could be up in the air. Today I also read that Spurs are interested in everything, and let's be real, he's not going to Spurs. Because if he is a boyhood Arsenal fan, he was in Arsenal's academy and everything, he wants to play for Arsenal, he said it himself in interviews. I don't see him going to Spurs whatsoever, just because of the rivalry and everything we have. So it will be interesting to see how this develops, because quite a bit of teams want Eze, and that just shows that it is possible that he is actually that good. Because let's be real, Bayern, one of the biggest clubs in Europe, in the world, and they signed Michel Olise. They signed Michael Olise, and that just shows that some teams have good enough players to play in the big teams. Let's be real, he's definitely gonna ball out there. He's gonna, let's be real, even with his injury issues, but he's gonna ball out there. So definitely means that Arsenal should do this more. Go for lower end teams and pick their best players if they fit the system and they are good enough. We just don't do it whatsoever, pretty much. So Arsenal needs to do that, do this shopping in that department quite a bit as well. But Eberechi Eze, we'll have to look at this because it is a 50-50 one at the moment. But would I take him at Arsenal? 100%. And here is a player I have never heard about, I'm not gonna lie to you. But according to Gerard Romero, who is one of the reporters for Barcelona, I think it is, yeah, is on Twitch reviewing Spain's 2024 Olympic football squad. Obviously, you have to be quite a bit of under 23s and everything. Juan Garcia, Espanyol goalkeeper, future of Arsenal. Now that could be taken out of context and everything, because let's be real, nobody's ever heard of him. If you are a Espanyol fan, maybe if you watch La Liga and La Liga Smartbank, or however it's called now at the moment, La Liga Hypermotion and La Liga 2 Hypermotion, something like that, you know him. Let's be real. But at the moment, I know nothing about him. I spoke to an Espanyol fan, and he said that for Arsenal, he would be an excellent backup option. So I'm gonna take his word for it, definitely. So it will be very interesting to see. But if we look at his stats, I have to just look at this because obviously I cannot. He is 1 million, obviously knowing Edu, he will pay about 50 million for him, so hey. But 23 years old, quite tall, let's be real. 14 appearances in La Liga Hypermotion, let's just say that. 7 goals conceded and 8 clean sheets. In 14 games he kept 8 clean sheets, which is actually quite massive. He didn't start a lot of games, only 33%, but it is what it is. But he kept more than half the games a clean sheet, and overall only concedes 1 goal per every second game. So that just shows how good he is for them. Espanyol got promoted into La Liga, so it will be very interesting to see if he stays, how he performs there. But it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Obviously, I think that in La Liga they have this system where they have 2 leagues, two second leagues, where there's one side and another side, so it will be very interesting to see how this develops. But here you can see he was on the bench with the squad, and then he started to play. Oh no, he just didn't play the whole season. Never mind. I'm talking about lower division. I was thinking about where they have 2. But here he was on the bench till, well, end of February, and then he played the rest of the second part of the season, and he did pretty good. Most of them were draws, I'm not gonna lie, but obviously that just can't follow a goalkeeper, just shows how good their defensively was and how poor their attack was. But obviously it was more or less semi-decided by then. In promotion games, by the way, they had to play for promotion. They beat Sporting Gijón 1-0. He played both games, 2 clean sheets, and they played against Real Oviedo in the final. In the away leg, they lost 1-0. In the second leg, they won 2-0. And unlike that, as the, I don't know, third, it's the third team, they got promotion into La Liga. So if you are a Espanyol fan watching this, let me know down in comments below. Is he good? Would he be good as Arsenal's number 2? Because From what I've talked about to a Espanyol fan, he said he would be quite good as a second option for Arsenal. And now we get into funny business, and not that kind of funny business. Get your mind out of the gutter. We are talking about, here it is, Arsenal could U-turn on statement with summer transfer as stands emerge. Arsenal may have to go back on their word this summer, 12 months after Edu and Mikel Arteta were bullish about the importance of one particular player on the team. Arsenal handed out 2 4-year contracts last year and could already have to cash in on one of them. Basically, we are talking about Reiss Nelson here, which is not a big surprise. The links about Reiss Nelson leaving are just gaining speed, pretty much, it feels like, especially since he said himself that he wants to leave, he wants to get some proper game time, and Arsenal are not standing in his way. Obviously, he's quite a bit of wages, so that could be a big issue to get him, to sell him, but it is possible. Arsenal want about 25 million for him, from what I've heard. And here it is. Now, after telling the club he wanted to assess his options, Nelson favors a move away from Arsenal. Brighton, Palace, Fulham, and Forest, and West Ham are clubs credited with an interest in the winger. Basically, Crystal Palace just lost Olise, they might lose Eze, so that makes a lot of sense. Fulham need the wingers, so that makes a lot of sense as well. Forest, yeah, it is what it is. West Ham might lose Kudus, so they need somewhat a replacement. And let's be real, Kudus is much miles better than Reiss Nelson, but with proper game time, trusted manager, proper coaching under Lopetegui, mind you, he actually could ball out. And Brighton just look for players just to fit in their squad and just ball out with, especially with the new manager they have signed. So if the club do sanction a move, let's be real, club has sanctioned a move. But it's just not public yet. It will come out. It will come the summer after Sporting Director Edu made known that Nelson showed just how valuable how he can be valuable to us if he doesn't play pretty much whatsoever. That I don't understand. They chat this rubbish all the time. He's showing how valuable he is to us when they play him 20 minutes randomly, 30 minutes randomly. How can players show you what he has if he doesn't get consistent minutes? It's just mind-blowing. But Athletic obviously previously claimed that they would seek around 20 million for him, which for me is a fair price. And if he leaves for 20 million, 25 million, I wouldn't be against that one single bit. This was quite interesting what I read as well, this report. Mikel Arteta requests medical assessment of Arsenal target before submitting a bid. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has reportedly requested the medical team to conduct an assessment of a summer target before submitting a bid, which already kind of leads we are trying to sign an injury-prone player. And here it is, Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto at Arsenal would be fan-freaking-tastic, let's be real. We talked about, like, I think 2-3 videos ago that Wolves have slapped a 65 million price tag on him, which would be nuts if Arsenal would pay that. But in a way, I would say he's worth it, definitely, 100% if he can stay fit. Now, according to Football Transfers, Wolves have significantly reduced Neto's price tag. The club needs to make a sale to fund their own signings and comply with the Premier League PSR rules, which is actually the reason why Arsenal are looking at him, because those 65 million have nosedived into about 30 to 35, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely there is a chance Arsenal could sign him up if our medical staff gives him a green light. Here it is. In January, Arsenal were quoted an 80 million asking price, but the figure has now dropped to a more reasonable 43 million. Obviously, it was reported as 65, but now it has dropped to 43 million. And Wolves would make a substantial profit on the 15 million they paid for Lazio. So basically, they made nearly 30 million, which would actually balance the books, the PSR, and everything. And yes, it would be a massive loss for them. However, they already have signed a replacement from Braga for that position. So that definitely indicates that they're preparing for bids to come in for Pedro Neto and sell him when the most opportunistic moment comes. Whether it will be for Arsenal remains to be seen, but I definitely would believe that if Arsenal goes in for Pedro Neto, Arsenal must get him because we need him. We genuinely, it's not just saying that he would fit Arsenal. We just need him in a way, because we need a replacement for Saka. We need a player who is explosive, electric, quick on his feet, very pacey, very good with skills. Basically, certain things that Saka is not. So definitely I believe that that could be a massive thing. He can play on the left as well, mind you. Trossard could play on the right. Arteta could finally get his head out of his ass and start rotating the wings, because I was watching the Spain game and they were swapping wings multiple times to throw Albania off, and Arsenal never do that. Genuinely never. They don't swap Saka and Martinelli, don't swap Saka and Trossard. They never swap wingers around just to throw opponents off. Genuinely. They just never do. And that is very, very annoying for me. That is one of the things Arteta definitely could improve on. And definitely that would give Arsenal a different dimension away. When you would have not just the player whose strong foot would mean that he would cut in, but if they swap wings, that would be making it more unpredictable. Yes, everyone would know that Saka would favor maybe his left, but he can definitely cross the ball then. He doesn't have to cut in and just shoot on his right. Same goes for Martinelli. He likes to run and then cross the ball. He can averagely cross the ball with his left foot. Just imagine him on the right when he can use his strong foot to do that. 100% it would be much, much more dangerous. So Pedro Neto remains to be seen what will happen, but Arsenal definitely are very, very interested, and Arteta is asking for our medical team's assessment before making any moves. And the last one for today is Kingsley Coman. A few days ago, there was a report that 3 teams are very interested in Kingsley Coman. 2 teams outside of Premier League, 1 was in Premier League. It later came out rumored that that team is, well, Arsenal. And now Bayern Munich are reportedly prepared to part ways with Kingsley Coman, especially since they signed Olise and everything this summer, putting Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal on high alert. There are rumors that Bayern Munich would ask about 50 million for him, and that would be the price. For 50 million, him coming to Arsenal, yes please. He's also injury prone, hey ho, but he would be fantastic at Arsenal in my opinion. The thing is though, just deep this situation. Arsenal want 50 million for Edin Nketiah. Bayern Munich are selling Kingsley Coman for 50 million. You see the difference? Who's gonna pay 50 million for Edin Nketiah? Nobody. Who's gonna pay 50 million for Kingsley Coman? Half of the big teams in Europe. Genuinely. I genuinely believe so. And if Arsenal somehow manage to come on top of this and somehow actually go in, put in a bid and sign him, I'm not gonna lie, I would be excited. Because definitely that is a player which would elevate our attack to a different level. Genuinely, because there's certain things missing from our attack, and Kingsley Coman is ticking the boxes that are missing. So definitely that would be a very interesting one if that came to life and it actually came through. Obviously the biggest issue is injuries. It remains to be seen how it's gonna happen with that in that department, but same as Pedro Neto, both are injury prone, so Arsenal are looking at wingers who are very injury prone. It looks like Nico Williams is not happening because he said himself that allegedly he doesn't want to leave himself, that he doesn't want to leave Spain. And Barcelona are slowly going into driver's seat in that department with everything. So Coman, Pedro Neto, pick your poison. Let me know what you think down in comments below. Anyhow though, those were the transfer rumors from me for you today. Let me know down in comments what you think, how you feel about them, especially about Coman, Pedro Neto, ESR leaving, or would you like him to stay for another season? Let me know down in comments below. Take care, enjoy football, enjoy Euros, like, comment, subscribe, and see you all in the next video. Peace.